prevented by some lawful or insuperable cause, Article 12, Paragraph 7 of the Revised Penal Code. Paragraph 7. Any person who fails to perform an act required by law, when prevented by some lawful or insuperable cause. Elements. 1. That an act is required by law to be done. 2. That a person fails to perform such act. 3. That his failure to perform such act was due to some lawful or insuperable cause. When prevented by some lawful cause. Example. A confessed to a Filipino priest that he and several other persons were in conspiracy against the government. Under Article 116, a Filipino citizen who knows of such conspiracy must report the same to the governor or fiscal of the province where he resides. If the priest does not disclose and make known the same to the proper authority, he is exempt from criminal liability, because under the law, the priest cannot be compelled to reveal any information which he came to know by reason of the confession made to him in his professional capacity. Vide, Sector 24D, Rule 130, Rules of Court. When prevented by some insuperable cause. Examples. 1. The municipal president detained the offended party for 3 days because to take him to the nearest justice of the peace required a journey for 3 days by boat, as there was no other means of transportation. U.S. v. Vicentillo. Under the law, the person arrested must be delivered to the nearest judicial authority at most within 18 hours, now 36 hours, Article 125, Revised Penal Code, as amended. Otherwise, the public officer will be liable for arbitrary detention. The distance which required a journey for 3 days was considered an insuperable cause. Hence, it was held that the accused was exempt from criminal liability. 2. A mother who at the time of childbirth was overcome by severe dizziness and extreme debility, and left the child in a thicket where said child died, is not liable for infanticide, because it was physically impossible for her to take home the child. People v. Bandian. The severe dizziness and extreme debility of the woman constitute an insuperable cause. Basis of Paragraph 7. The circumstance in Paragraph 7 of Article 12 exempts the accused from criminal liability, because he acts without intent, the third condition of voluntariness in intentional felony. In all the exempting circumstances, intent is wanting in the agent of the crime. Intent presupposes the exercise of freedom and the use of intelligence. Hence, in paragraphs 1, 2, and 3 of Article 12, the imbecile, insane, or minor, not having intelligence, does not act with intent. The person acting under any of the circumstances mentioned in paragraphs 5 and 6 of Article 12, not having freedom of action, does not act with intent. In paragraph 4 of Article 12, it is specifically stated that the actor causes an injury by mere accident without intention of causing it. Distinction between justifying and exempting circumstances. 1. A person who acts by virtue of a justifying circumstance does not transgress the law, that is, he does not commit any crime in the eyes of the law, because there is nothing unlawful in the act as well as in the intention of the actor. The act of such person is in itself both just and lawful. In justifying circumstances, there is neither a crime nor a criminal. No civil liability, except in paragraph 4, causing damage to another in state of necessity. 2. In exempting circumstances, there is a crime but no criminal liability. The act is not justified, but the actor is not criminally liable. There is civil liability, except in pars. 4 and 7, causing an injury by mere accident, failing to perform an act required by law when prevented by some lawful or insuperable cause, of Article 12. See Article 101, which does not mention paragraphs 4 and 7 of Article 12. Absolutary causes, defined. Absolutary causes are those where the act committed is a crime but for reasons of public policy and sentiment there is no penalty imposed. Other absolutary causes. In addition to the justifying circumstances, Article 11, and the exempting circumstances, Article 12, there are other absolutary causes in the following articles, to wit. Article 6. The spontaneous desistance of the person who commenced the commission of a felony before he could perform all the acts of execution. Article 20. Accessories who are exempt from criminal liability. The penalties prescribed for accessories shall not be imposed upon those who are such with respect to their spouses, ascendants, descendants, legitimate, natural, and adopted brothers and sisters, or relatives by affinity within the same degrees, with the single exception of accessories falling with the provisions of paragraph 1 of the next preceding article. The provisions of paragraph 1 of Article 19 read, as follows. By profiting themselves or assisting the offenders to profit by the effects of the crime. Article 124, last paragraph. The commission of a crime, or violent insanity or any other ailment requiring the compulsory confinement of the patient in a hospital, shall be considered legal grounds for the detention of any person. Article 247, paragraphs 1 and 2. Death or physical injuries inflicted under exceptional circumstances. Any legally married person who, having surprised his spouse in the act of committing sexual intercourse with another person, shall kill any of them or both of them in the act or immediately thereafter, or shall inflict upon them any serious physical injury, shall suffer the penalty of destierro. If he shall inflict upon them physical injuries of any other kind, he shall be exempt from punishment. Article 280, paragraph 3. The provisions of this article, on trespass to dwelling, shall not be applicable to any person who shall enter another's dwelling for the purpose of preventing some serious harm to himself, the occupants of the dwelling or a third person, nor shall it be applicable to any person who shall enter a dwelling for the purpose of rendering some service to humanity or justice, nor to anyone who shall enter cafes, taverns, inns, and other public houses, while the same are open. Article 332. Persons exempt from criminal liability. No criminal, but only civil, liability shall result from the commission of the crime of theft, swindling or malicious mischief committed or caused mutually by the following persons. 1. Spouses, ascendants and descendants, or relatives by affinity in the same line. 2. The widowed spouse with respect to the property which belonged to the deceased spouse before the same shall have passed into the possession of another, and 3. Brothers and sisters and brothers-in-law and